Here we go. Kalimera, Kalispera, wherever time you are watching. This is Mappa. I'm Stel. Thassos is here, and we have a very special guest, a gentleman who is a Cypriot football virgin. We have taken his virginity. We didn't take him to basement or rumours in Limassol or any of the gentlemen's clubs to do that. Not that we condone that sort of thing or encourage it. But yes, Steve, welcome to This is Mappa. Welcome, mate. How you doing?
Hi guys, yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you all keeping?
We are good given the circumstance. I mean, it's been a quiet week. There hasn't been many shenanigans. There's been a little bit of drama on the pitch, but in a good way, football drama. None of the off the field stuff that we're used to discussing. So we're kind of breaking you in slowly. Yeah.
Easily in,
It's,
easily in.
it's going to be a tame show in
Yeah,
comparison
not
to
like what we
previous
did with
ones.
Kojo last time.
Poor Kojo. I think we scarred him for life. In all
Hey,
fairness,
we lost him halfway through. Yeah.
That's how you doing, mate. You good?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. I'm all right. Work, stuff, life, family, all that business. Obviously the football at the weekend to kind of turn it all off and relax and scream at some other people instead for 90 minutes.
You don't scream at anyone. You don't scream at anyone. You're not a screamer.
Yeah, I'll leave that for others to respond to.
Okay, fair enough. All right, let's go into the match reviews. And the first game we're going to go with is Doxa beating Odessa by 3-2. Two of our mates scored in this game. Mikel Duris gave Odessa the lead. Doxa then equalised through Trujic. Then another mate of mine, Asante, made it 2-1 before Kovacevic scored a blinding goal with 5 minutes to go. But Galsa made it 3-2 near the end. Wow. Okay, this is a cracking goal from Duris, by the way, Thasso. But Odessa have been in pretty decent form recently, but this result ain't going to do them any favors, although they don't really have anything to play for. But for Doxa, that's 3 points there on the board. They're 3 points ahead of Olympiacos now, 6 off the relegation zone or relegation spot, really. So yeah, or bottom place, should I say?
Yep. Doxa, if they start to come into some form now, it's going to do them some good. I think, especially, there's only one game left before the split happens between the top 6 and the bottom 8. They're in those dangerous places, so they definitely need the form. They started the game off very, very poorly as well, and obviously going 1-0 down to that Juris goal. Gravenberch, he's becoming one of my favourite players in the league. Gravenberch is. He's just a pain in the arse for the defence. He just seems to get around everywhere and just be a nuisance. But yeah, it's very the first half was very tame apart from the goals. So obviously we're in the 50th minute now. It's still only 1-0. As we're going through the highlights, a few chances here and there. The first Doxa goal, we talk about. Said Gravenberch is becoming one of my favorite players. He's not a defender, is he? Because the ball almost lands at his feet, and he just lets it bounce away from him, and Trujic gets the shot away. Yeah,
that's zonal marking there, Steve, isn't it? Zonal marking.
That's not zonal marking. That's just core basics.
Yeah, that's just standing around, isn't it?
Yeah, you'd literally just swing your leg at that and hope, to clear it rather than watch it bounce. And then look, he does he's blaming the other players. I love when a player does that. When you mess up and then you blame everyone else, going, "Why was no one marking him?"
Thasso, do you want to remind Steve, or tell Steve how many head coaches Gadmodis have had this season?
Gadmodis are on the 6th head coach of the season.
That's the team in orange.
Yeah, they're on their 6th head coach of the season. So, yeah. Yeah, they've
okay.
There's been an interesting turnaround there. Obviously, I mean, considering they got promoted last season, and they kind of sat in mid-table and not really worried about relegation at the moment. It's quite a testament to the team, considering all the bloody turmoil regarding the coaches as well.
Yeah, fucking hell.
But yeah, it's part and parcel for Cyprus. But I think 6 coaches, I think, is a bit much even for in Cyprus.
Yeah.
It's not.
But then again, Doxa, the team that they're losing to, or they lost to, should I say, they've got 4 points out of their last 6. They're on their 4th or 5th head coach.
Fourth head coach. Yeah, they
Gosh.
had.
Oh, what a strike!
Yeah,
Sorry.
really, no. I mean, that's why we've got the highlights up to watch them. But yeah, really, really, really good goal. Kovacevic, great strike again. Defense. Where's the defense?
Yeah,
He's got so much time on the ball and
Had time to take a
got plenty
touch.
of time. Yeah,
I think what worries me there is there's 6 outfield players behind that ball and no one near him.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Sorry, like this is like the defensive coach of me going absolutely.
No, this is only the start of it. You're going to see a lot more situations like this.
This is the starter.
Yeah. Defensively, the league needs. I mean, kind of forward play is great. It's just the defending in this league is. I mean, being nice, it's atrocious. I mean, even for this goal here, the only player to react to the second ball is the attacking player.
Yeah, because you've got one defender jumping into another, then you've got 3, maybe 3 of them standing on top of each other on the penalty spot.
Yeah. So it's part and parcel of the game. Like we kind of watch these kind of situations now, and unless it's something egregious like that, like proper egregious like that, Doxa goal or Gravenberg not kicking it out, we kind of just shrug it off and go.
That's the
It is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So they obviously they performed well. Doxa performed well for 90 minutes there. We're winning 3-1, and then obviously that's the second goal goes in, and you've got a nervous last 2-3 minutes as you got Garmodisa pushing forward, especially with the kind of defending that we were showing earlier on in the game.
Yeah.
It's definitely a nervous time. But yeah, for Doxa, they're basically 3 games unbeaten now. Well, 4, including the cup game that they just had tonight.
Well,
So
the cup game, which they drew away at Buffalo, but they're out because they lost on the first leg. But incidentally, they took Germany's away supporters. They took to Buffalo for tonight's game. You can literally count them on one hand. 5.
Did they go on the same bus with them?
Possibly. It wouldn't be a surprise. 5 fans. Yeah, listen, your team's 4-1 down from the first leg. You're away to a team that is challenging for the title. You're fighting relegation. Why would you want to go?
Night.
Yeah. So, yeah, credit to them for showing up. I've got to give them that, man. I've got to give them that. It's, they're a tiny team as well. Let's not get it. It's not one of the top 6 teams by any stretch of the imagination. So for them to take 5, that's 5 more than I expected. But anyway.
Yeah.
I was going to say, just going back to the point of the manager merry-go-round, or like the revolving door of it, do they just bounce from club to club, or is it a case of you are literally just someone is landing in Cyprus, they're going to take over the job, and they're like, don't get comfortable?
It depends on who they are. It depends on who they are, though.
Yeah.
There is one coach that's coaching my team. He's on his Apollon. He's on his 5th club in Cyprus as a head coach. So. Yeah.
So the first club he was there for 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah. Then he left, and then he came back after 34 days.
Yeah, and then
it's annual leave, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. and then I hired him, and he was only there for what 3 months. He didn't last long, did he? And then APOEL, he was only there for 3 months. Garmodisa was only there for 1 month. and now he's at Omonoia.
So, yeah.
That's all
He's
of
got
them,
a year
right?
and a half contract. Yeah, he's got a year and a half contract. So
Yeah.
anyway, right? Shall we? Let's go into the next game, right? And it's Aris against Buffalo. Now, I saw this very, very interesting tweet from Aris, who are now following us. So thank you, Aris. Really appreciate it, and I love this. Please welcome the new Cyprus Classics. This is not an ordinary game between teams from two cities. The degree of confrontation is consistently high. We're sure that this battle will not leave anyone indifferent. Support Aris in Buffalo. Now, for those of you who don't know, Aris and Buffalo are both, how shall we say, financially backed by very rich people. And Aris have really gone balls deep with their marketing, their social media, to the point where we even gave them credit on the last episode. And they're classy guys. And they even put out a tweet. They said, much love, guys, because they saw our tweet about them. And yeah, here we go. We've given them their flowers. But they've really, really done well to push the club and give it that exposure in Cyprus. And look, Aris aren't this successful club in Cyprus. I don't know how many trophies they've won, if ever they've won anything. I don't know. Maybe that's what you can tell me.
They haven't won the league. So
No.
traditionally, they're considered the third Limassol team. So you've got Apollon and AEL have got history behind them, whereas Aris, for a few years as well, they struggled kind of yo-yoing between the two leagues as well.
Steve, kind of like Chelsea, you got Spurs, Arsenal, right? Two historical clubs in London, and then Chelsea come along, who were languishing in Division 2, got promoted, won a few trophies here and there, and then the Russian comes in, and this is effectively what's happening with Aris.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Buffalo have only been around for what, 6 or 7 years, if that. They used to be two clubs, and they amalgamated into one, and then they got bought over by Dubov, and he's got a billionaire Russian backer. So Buffalo have got Henningberg as head coach. I'm trying to think of any other house.
He used to manage your team, but yes.
He did. Mendietta's on the board. Salgado's on the board. They've really done well to create a training ground in Buffalo. It's state of the art. Their stadium is a bit shit, but they're going to redo it. So there are lots of plans for the club in terms of its.
I've driven past their training ground when I was out there in the summer. Yeah, it's like the only bit of grass, because everything else was quite dry in that summer.
Yep. Sounds about right.
So there you go. And then you've got Aris, which is the other team. This is one of the 3 teams in Limassol. They've got a big Russian backer. They brought in many, I'd say, bigger names. Kokorin is probably the most standout name from Fiorentina on loan. But they made a few other very shrewd signings. In fact, Morgan Brown, central midfielder from the UK, he plays for Aris. But they've made a lot of interesting signings, and they're challenging. They're not quite there yet, but they're getting there. And they played each other in what's known as the new classic, because I think we need to start getting used to the fact that those two teams will be dominating in the next few years, and it will be like El Clasico. And I'm gonna bring up the highlights. Sorry, that's the the backstory between two teams. Aris and Buffalo, they drew 1 apiece. Aris went a goal ahead through Zoke, and then Zairo scored, I believe, his 17th goal of the season for Buffalo. But Thasso, watching this game in its entirety, I don't think the highlights do Aris any justice, because while Buffalo appeared to have a lot more opportunities in the first half, second half, Aris just couldn't find the back of the net. They could have been 3-0 up before Zairo equalised. It was just one of those games, and great to watch as well for the neutral.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Aris all the time. Is that they have a lot of chances, but they seem to need a lot of chances to put something away. I'm not sure why that's the case, but again, as well, kind of considering the attacking talent that's on display, the amount of chances off target was surprising, and for people watching as well, the players and the managers, the amount of chances off target must have been really frustrating. It's you expect these two teams that Aris with the high press and the fast forward attacking play, Buffalo's just with the amount of. Sorry, I'm talking over. I'm talking over Shoka's goal as well. But you would expect a lot more goals, a lot more at least on target action. But yeah, if we just go back to he proper wallops that, doesn't he?
Yeah, Steve, that's a difficult one to hit as well, isn't it? The way that he
Yeah.
dropped just before he hit.
And he's maintained to keep his foot over the ball just so he doesn't sky it and to keep the power on it. And fair play to the keeper because he tries to get across, and
Yeah.
I think it's just too powerful for him.
Yeah.
Well, that
Buffer spent 2 million on that keeper in January. They spent 2 million on him. Yeah, he's a third choice Croatian
how do you
national
miss
team keeper.
that?
So. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That
there's another chance that'll come up, or I think it's Bengtson.
Yeah, Bengtson's chance. Yeah.
Yeah, and he goes to he kicks the post afterwards, and you see him as like he regretted doing it.
How was he onside, by the way?
Yeah, it would have gone to it would have gone to VAR. It would have gone to VAR. We have it out there. Don't worry. It's not used well, but we have it.
Yeah.
Zyra was causing him all sorts of problems, though, wasn't he? Especially peeling off the centre back shoulder, getting into those areas in between the fullback and the centre back, which is what he's been doing all season. In all fairness, I don't know why people or clubs don't see it or notice it. Zyra always loves to peel off the centre back shoulder and playing between the fullback, and he always gets in behind. But clearly, people don't do their research, or they just don't have the brain power.
Saying that, he wasn't able to get on the score sheet for the last 2-3.
Oh, great save!
Yeah. So defenders might be rubbish in Cyprus, but there's a good class of goalkeeper. There's quite a few good goalkeepers in Cyprus. Yeah.
Good footwork. Yeah. Good front. Oh, how.
That Zyra, league's top goal scorer. It just seemed like one of those days for him. Nothing went right. You know, these opportunities. The one that the goalkeeper saved earlier was from him. This chance, you'd bet your mortgage on him to score, especially with the amount of goals this season. But cometh the hour, cometh the man. Here he goes, peels off the defender's shoulder, 2 touches, bang. Yeah. Maybe the keeper should have done a bit better.
But he's done the right movement there off the last defender and taken it, struck it across the goal.
Yep. But interestingly enough, Steve, with Buffer, we figured something out about them this season. Every time they've gone a goal down in games, they haven't come back to win. They've either lost or drawn. So when they went a goal down in this game, especially against Aris, you're thinking, is this going to be another defeat for the club? And a lot of people were saying that perhaps Berg would have got sacked if they lost this game. That was a big rumour, which is strange because they're third in the table? I don't know. Fourth, yeah. But yes, I think it's a fair point. To be honest, I think Buffer will be a little disappointed that they didn't win this game, given the chances that created second half. But I don't know, Thassos, what did you make of this?
It's a draw in the end doesn't help either club. You know, they need to keep up with what's happening above them, and a draw doesn't do anything for either of them. Aris especially, you know, they went on that run before Christmas of like 6 draws in a row.
Yeah,
and that, I mean, when you look at how close it is at the top, just 2 of those draws, if you turn them into wins, they would have been level on points with top. Right now, and Bafos's form as well, since they got rid of Semedo and brought in Bruno instead, their form has taken a nosedive. Apart from Doxa in the cup, I think they've only won 1 of their last 3 or 4 games.
Yep, that's right.
But then you can see it in the highlights, but they're just not finishing chances. You can't go into games like that having that many chances and only coming away with 1 goal, especially when, not even say lesser teams, but like a team that's more clinical will have fewer chances. They take their opportunities.
Yeah,
I think that's the difference between drawing out so many games and losing momentum without doing badly, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you could argue like, we're unbeaten in 4. How many have you won? None, but we haven't lost. And it's like, well, it kind of counts for nothing. You'd rather win 2 and lose 2. and
Yeah,
draw 4. So
yeah, here you go. I'm just looking at Bafos' league form right now. They've only won 1 of the last 5. They've won 1, drawn 2, and lost 2. So it's the kind of form that makes you kind of get drop off there, which is why they were talking. There was the rumors about Berg being let go.
Well, they
yeah.
went through a phase when Zyro, the top goal scorer, I mean, Zyro's got 17 goals, yeah? They went through a phase where he was out injured and they were getting results. They were getting wins. But now he's back in the team. It seems that, look, I don't want to say that Bruno is to blame for it because they signed this winger from Omonoia called Bruno in January, right? And I don't particularly rate him, but he was our top goal scorer. So there was a big hoo-ha at the club from the fans because why are you selling our best player to Buffalo? You're just enhancing their title ambitions. My argument was this could be like Aspria when he joined Newcastle. You know, they signed him to win the league and they fell off. And, you know, again, maybe it's not Bruno's fault, but they sold another winger called Semedo and brought in Bruno to replace him. But they seemed more potent with Semedo in the team because Semedo gave more. He was a bit of a clumsy winger, very gangly, but he was quick and he left defenders with twisted blood, whereas Bruno is very one-dimensional. You know what you're going to get from him. So I think perhaps Bruno coming in has kind of changed the dynamic a little bit in terms of the system. And
I think, as I say, by the sounds of it, with a winger like Semedo, is it Semedo?
Yeah, Semedo, yeah.
So a player like that is almost a bit chaos. But like you don't know what you're necessarily going to get. So from a defending perspective, like it throws you off guard. Whereas when you come across a more sort of well-rounded player, you know that they've only got one, as you just said there, so they've got one way of playing. Well, you defend against that, you restrict them, you nullify what they can bring to the team. So by the sounds of it, although they may have stepped up in quality as an overall player, they may have actually reduced the variation in their attack.
Yeah. Which I think we've pointed out a couple of times now is the thing is as well is he's taken, so Bruno's taken the space of I think basically they kicked Valakari off the first team to get Bruno a place because Valakari only seems to be coming off the bench right now, and he's Finnish international. I think it was
he's at the Euros.
He was at the Euros. So he was in that team, that Finnish team that did well a couple of seasons ago. He's only 23, 22, 23.
Yeah,
he's
like that,
very, very skillful player. You saw like a couple of the highlights at the end there, the kind of shots he was taking, kind of bit more, provided a bit more of an outlet for him. But at the moment, there's no space for him because Bruno's taking that space.
I think the other issue right now that Buffalo have, you mentioned Valakari there. I think the reason why Valakari hasn't been playing is because of the contract dispute that happened months ago. Even though he signed a new contract, I still think there might be a little bit of bad blood there. But I think when you've got Tankovic in the team that has been doing really, really well, keeping him out of the team.
And Hestad.
Hestad was, in fact, Tankovic came off injured. He took a nasty knock and he came off injured with a couple minutes into injury time. So I don't know how long he's going to be out for, if he's going to be out. But Hestad, obviously the Norwegian, he's a decent midfielder. But again, this is Henning Berg we're talking about. And it's like we keep saying, Berg only knows how to play one way. And that is a pragmatic game, get men behind the ball, hit you on the counter-attack with the pacey fullbacks, pacey wingers, and a pacey front man. That is a fucking nuisance, which Zyro is. Now, going back to what we said weeks ago in terms of when Antosh was in goal at Buffalo, we said, okay, well, they're not going to win the league with this guy in goal. They went and signed a £2 million goalkeeper, and the defensive mistakes, they're still happening. So I'm guessing they're going to spend big in the summer to bring in a couple more defenders, if Berg is still there, that is, because while Kvida signed a new contract, while obviously they've got Palacios coming off the bench, Hosko coming off the bench, something doesn't look right defensively for Buffalo. I don't know. They just can't keep clean sheets lately.
I mean, you just said it there, that Berg's pragmatic and looks for counter-attacking football. So you'd expect them to be defensively well organised. better as a unit. If they're still conceding goals, then either the players aren't switched on or aren't listening to the tactics, because you'd expect them to be set up in a way that even if they weren't winning games, at least you'd be getting clean sheets.
Well,
Yeah.
they are the. I'm just looking at they are the third best defense in the league.
Yeah.
However, that goals against tally has crept up quite a bit over the last 3 or 4 games.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So-
is that a case of they're trying to be a bit more expansive and leaving themselves exposed, or again, this might come down to the whole winger situation?
It's
kind of limited.
it's a thing of they keep going behind, so they're chasing the game, and when they're chasing the game, they seem to fall further behind sometimes. Even if they're trying to keep more solid at the back, it's a strange one. It's a strange one.
When was the last time they kept a clean sheet? 8th of Feb against AEL, I think it was.
Yeah, but everybody keeps a clean sheet against that.
Well, not my team.
I've got some statements for when we talk about AEL with you, Steve. Once we get to them.
Okay.
Right, let's move on to the next game then. All right. Okay. So this one should be pretty. I want to say short and sweet, but that's because I've cut out the first half highlights purely because nothing really happened in the first half, but the second half exploded into life. Paralimni beats Agridas by 5 goals to 0. All 5 goals coming in the second half. My mate Vucenovic getting on the score sheet. Meira made it 2. Rusha, my goodness, Rusha actually scored. Made it 3. Vitor Fernandez in the 90th minute made it 4, and Javier in the 9th minute of added time made it 5 with a cracker. But Thassos, again, I don't know what to say about this game that isn't particularly obvious. Agrida were trash in the second half. Absolutely trash.
They were trash whole game. I mean, even in the first half with the highlights, it was just Paralimni.
Has their keeper got a broken finger? Because the 2 clips so far, he refuses to catch anything.
I've got some things to say about the keeper. I've got some things to say.
Oh yes.
Is he some? Go for it, because
So basically, right, Agridas have got 3 goalkeepers, and 2 of them have now had a game where they've conceded 5 goals, right? And there's a third one that hasn't played a game yet, and I don't know why he's not being put on the pitch. It's Akos Onodi. He was a Villa youth team goalie, and he played for Villa when there was that COVID game against Liverpool. So when all the Villa players had COVID and they had to play the under-18s, so he played that game for Villa, and his performance in the first half in that game was amazing. So Villa thought of him very, very, thought of him very highly. But he decided to leave because he didn't want to be third choice goalkeeper. He wanted to play first team football. So he signed for Agridas in
the team in green.
The team in green. Stop that.
And wait, this isn't him. This is somebody.
No, thank God.
This is a different goalkeeper. But
I thought it was an outfield player in goal.
Might as well be. Might as well be.
But basically with Onodi, the reason why he moved to Cyprus was because as Attila Jalai and Roland Salai, who were young Hungarian players that moved to Cyprus, performed well. And Roland Salai now is in the Bundesliga playing for Freiburg. And Attila Jalai is in Turkey. Is it Fenerbahce he plays for? I can't remember, but it's somewhere in Turkey. And Attila Jalai, I think Chelsea were interested in him at one point. I think there was rumours in the summer about going there. And so he came to Cyprus because he didn't want to be third choice goalkeeper, and it seems to be at the moment he's third choice goalie.
I mean,
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Look at that! Look
Wow.
at that for a goal.
But
So
the
yeah,
defending
if
for that one,
Russia hadn't
But yeah.
scored that, if Russia hadn't scored that, then he needed kicking. He needed kicking out of the team. Because look at that! Look at that!
I mean, that's shocking defending by number
Yep.
29. Goalkeeper though, like
Yeah.
check your shoulder, check, just quick scan, because if it's in the 6-yard box and he's that close, just come out, just dive out onto it.
well, they are bottom of the league for a reason. In all fairness.
Yeah.
And they had so much promise a few weeks ago when they changed head coach and they beat Anorthosis and they looked like they were getting back into the survival mode, but they've been dreadful in the last 5 or 6 games, honestly.
Yeah, they've been.
Yeah, but you're in a top division. Like, these are just basics. Like, are some of these players on the take?
Well, no.
You can never possibly say, but I can. Sod it, I don't care. But like, but surely, like the previous goal that we saw, like if you're a defender, you don't even have to sprint. Just stand next to the bloody striker.
Yeah. Well, this is a handball check, by the way, which I think was the right decision not to give it because you can't give a penalty for that. But when I first saw it, I thought this is Cyprus, and no doubt something fishy is going to happen. But he made the right decision. The referee made the right decision.
He changed his mind, and which
I mean,
we barely ever see.
Fair play, because his arms are down. He's like in a sort of, I say, an engaged position, so he's not exactly moving towards the ball. What a strike!
Yeah. So Fernandez was a Newcastle United reserve player, I think until 2019, and he's been around. He's been around a few places, and he signed for this team in January. But yeah, I don't think he's been playing much for them either. But that's really good.
I realise I've just been slate. I realise I've been slating this team for the last 3 minutes, but the defender's done what he could there. The keeper. Like, to be fair, that is in the top corner.
You don't stop that, do you?
Yeah. And then we'll watch the next highlight and go, "That was terrible." Like, shot from. I mean, you can see they reduced the shots from distance. I'm guessing they haven't really got a goal scorer or a striker in their team.
They do, but I don't think he was on the pitch when that happened.
No.
There's that Torres got taken off at some point.
Yeah, that's right.
But I mean, neither. Go on, sorry.
No, just again 2 players like. They were competing for the same header.
Yep.
Yep.
That's standard.
I mean, there's
pretty standard, man.
Yeah, especially for this Agridas team. So obviously there was a bit of fallout for losing 5-0. So pretty much the next day.
Did they sack him?
Akrapovic is gone.
I didn't even know.
Yeah. Akrapovic and Silveira both are gone. So not just the manager, but the sporting director as well got sacked after the game.
I mean, what was the final score? 5-0, and yet it was 0-0 at half time.
Yeah.
Is that one of them, do you reckon, where they've given everything they could for the first half?
No. Because Stel removed quite a lot of the highlights from the first half, but it was basically just attack
for defense.
Attack for it was basically one-way traffic all the way through the game. Akrapovic took over from David Badia in January.
David
Badia.
I mean, it would explain the fucking joke defending. Sorry, but.
Oh god, yeah. So he obviously this Akrapovic, the coach, he took him over and got a couple of really surprising results. So we already spoke about the Anorthosis one. They drew with AEK, who was second at the moment. The beginning of the season, like first game of the season, they beat Omonoia 1-0. But the results against against teams that are near them have been shocking. Like Baralimni are the team that are just above that relegation zone at the moment. And by losing that game as much as they have, by losing that game, they've made it more difficult as well for the other two teams that are in the relegation zone.
I was gonna say, when you're in a relegation battle, you almost have to take you take the top half out of the equation. So you write those games off as a loss, and if you can snatch a point, brilliant. And you have to sort of really hone in on, right, can I beat those closest around me so I'm not the worst of the bunch? And if you're saying there that they're getting beaten by those around them, there's no real escape. No matter if they pull off miracles against teams at the top, if you're losing against your rivals in the same area of the division, you can't get out of that, and it slowly becomes a chasm.
Well, they have 12 points at the moment. And
how many games?
They beat. We're on 25 now, 25 games.
Okay.
So,
right, but the thing is, Thasso, you're gonna have to explain the format to Steve,
I think we'll do that once we get the league table up. Be easier to explain that. But in essence, they've got 12 points, but 7 of those points are against a draw against second place, a win against Omonoia, and a win against Anorthosis, which are teams that they weren't expected to beat anyway. So in essence, they only got 5 points against teams that they should be
around. Yeah.
So again, they invested very heavily. I didn't invest heavily in the team, but there's quite a lot of rotation, as happens in the Cyprus League anyway. But the thing that's not necessary, that's kind of a bit strange, at least for Cyprus, is the average age of that squad is very, very, very low. Like normally, you'd be 30-year-olds, 32-year-olds, 33, 34-year-olds. They went out and got 17, 18, 21, 22, 23-year-olds. So they were looking at the future, but more sell-on value stuff.
Yeah.
So they got rid of one of their players. The Bulgarian transfer deadline was last week. And they sold a player to Levski Sofia for 200,000 euros. And they got him in for free.
Okay, so they're making money there.
So I think there's... Yeah.
I was going to say, this sounds like they're missing a few older heads. Just to sort of...
But there's a caveat for this, Steve, because this club that we're talking about has how shall we say, a connection with Buffer, the team that Henning Berg is head coach of. They're in the same
so it's
city.
Basically their feeder club.
Pretty much, yeah.
All intents and purposes, if any of them are young and good, they'll be snapped up. Kind of like what Scotland, like what they used to do in Scotland with Celtic and Rangers. So, Carl, you played well against us. We'll buy you now.
Yes.
Yep.
Something like that.
Yeah. I mean, the other game that they conceded 5 goals in was against Bafo. So I'll just leave that there.
And this is a Bafos team that you were saying that was struggling to. Yeah. Okay. That was a confidence boost for him.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to another game, shall we? Salamina. 2-2 draw against Olympiacos. They took the lead through Dore Garay. Fabrice Carlin equalized. Muhtari's then made it 2-1 for Olympiacos, but with 6 minutes to go, Miguelito made it 2-2, and our friend Joel Mal was not happy with conceding that goal. I'll tell you that for now. But Thasso, this is quite interesting because we're going to talk about obviously Omonoia and APOEL in a bit. But despite the draw, Salamina still have a chance to get into the top 6. And I'll tell you what, Bursa
Oh,
ball
that's a nice goal.
is
It really is,
in
isn't it?
full effect. And I'll tell you what, they've surprised many people this season, Salamina. A team that got promoted, everyone thought they were going to go down. They made a lot of signings, but they stuck to their head coach. And despite the draw, I think their fans will be absolutely thrilled to see them not only stay up, but challenge for top six.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
wing play, superb pace, and then just great turning.
Yeah. So a couple of months ago, Stel called the goal scorer. He called him the Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead, yeah.
And since then, it's been on this kind of like this. He's found this purple patch of form.
I've given him the motivation, mate. I've done the team talks for him.
But I mean, that's just good wing. That's just good target man hold up play there. Like the winger's taking it down the line. Just before he took on the centre back, I think it was the centre back there because you see him leave another player for dead. So the defence become unbalanced. It allows the striker to get further up the field, and that's just good target man.
Whereas this goal here, I think defense.
I think that was about 8 shots and only one on target that went in. Just kicking it against the players and hoping for the best. It's one of them. Like, have you ever done it? Like growing up when you play football, like you kick the ball. Like I say, like someone closes you down, you kick it past them, and it just ricochets off that. Like it ricochets off. Sorry, you're the defender. You tackle someone, but the ball just goes back to them, and then you tackle them again, and the ball goes back to them. That's kind of what that goal was there.
Yeah.
I think it hit him 3-4 times. He didn't realise it, and yet the striker's there going, still get a chance to finish.
Yeah, pretty much. There's a really good save here, I think, as well. Yeah, from the header. There you go.
Fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic save. Dorega, he thought he scored a second one there.
Well, they're always deadly from set pieces, Salamina, because they're such a big team, big boys. Do you know what I mean? So it's not a surprise that they've been a threat.
It's not just that; it's the pace as well. So that you've got Chico Banza on the wing. You've got a couple of other players like that as well.
So the player with the white headband.
Yeah, I think that's Chico Banza, isn't it?
Yeah.
No. But yeah, we kind of made a big deal about Nea Salamina's defense a few weeks back, and since then they've been leaking goals left, right.
But I will say, watching this game compared to some of the others already, the defense. I might have jinxed it from one of the upcoming highlights, but like the defense have looked better organised. I think some of it is. In some of the earlier highlights, it was poor defending rather than good attacking. Whereas here, you're seeing the striker get in front of the defender, good movement off the ball, and being a bit more risk taking, as opposed to a defender watching the ball bounce and just looking at anyone in a 5-yard radius.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that the team in red that just conceded Salamina, as Thassos said earlier, we've been I've praised them a lot, especially for their defensive work. And Olympiacos, the other team, while they've been at the bottom, since they changed their head coach, they haven't been leaking as many goals as. By the way, did you see that line?
Yeah. I just
wait. Did you see that line? I just noticed that.
Don't.
And then if only you had lines on the pitch that would line up with it.
What is this? What is this?
That's a parallelogram or a trapeze. They're going to link up.
I don't know. Listen, I've gone on so many diatribes on these fucking lines. It's.
What is this?
I mean, why did they even check it for offside?
I was going to say. Are they trying to force an offside here somehow?
I don't know. I have no idea why they are even checking it. But I mean, we're talking about kind of like the defending in this match being
unbelievable.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
Honestly,
it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
That's like using an air fryer to have cereal. Like You've got a piece of equipment that you're using so wrongly and needlessly.
Oh, hold on.
Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes.
What? So is that why you lot let me carry on saying this game looked a bit more defensively organised?
Yeah.
And then that.
So
He's been. Did he think he was through on goal and then realise, oh no, that's my teammate, and then pass it?
So,
do you know?
Mate.
That player Kalili is a Swedish international. He's played for Sweden.
And someone's got risky photos of him somewhere that they threatened to leak, because how do you go through on goal at your own keeper? Look, he checks, and then just like, he goes, I've underhit it. Like, if you took that out of context, you'd think that Salimi, I can't say it, the striker was actually defending there, trying to intercept that a weak shot.
That's in the 84th minute. Why would you do? Anyway,
checking for a concussion.
There you go.
Don't worry about concussion.
Abdul Kalili played for Sweden once. There you go.
Did he score an own goal, or did he assist an own goal? Because if he did that, I would. Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Yes.
But the thing is, like this is what's like infuriated me so far watching this. Like, I'm watching the football. There's not bad football when they're going forward. It just looks like as soon as anyone defends, and they're not even the defenders, it's like the attacking players. As soon as they start doing anything defensively, it looks like they've got a concussion and they don't know where they are.
Yep. Yeah. Pretty much. Well, there's kind of the decision process as well. They're kind of, it doesn't work. Like, clearly there's a high press going on. There's only like 5 or 6 minutes left in the game. You've got the ball. You've got opposition players pressing you. Just hit it out. Just get rid of it. Get it away.
He could have still turned round and walked forward. The opposition stopped and went, is he going to score this for us? I genuinely reckon if someone interviewed him, they went, what was going through your head? He went, I'm through on goal. And then I went, that's my teammate. And then froze.
I'm through on goal. And then what? I don't know. I forget. Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Next game. Now, this one, Anorthosis 1, AEL 1. Both clubs were in with a shout, in with a small shout of top 6. And Alexander Kacaniklic, see, I can do it, gave AEL the lead, but Christofi scored an equalizer with 2 minutes to go. As I said, both clubs were in with a shout of getting into top 6. Anorthosis not so much anymore. AEL still have a chance, but this was a really entertaining game. In fact, I was watching this on Saturday while the Arsenal game was on, and I had both my eyes on this one most of the time. And that's purely because of the atmosphere, purely because of the attacking prowess of both teams. It was just back and forth like a basketball game. And to be honest, Anorthosis, all credit to them, because when they sat Munoz, we were saying it's a clown show, it's a circus. But it's kind of been like the Phoenix Rising. And had it not been for Mraz having a nightmare, they would have won this game comfortably, in all fairness. Look at that for a miss. Jesus.
Yeah, it hits the bar. Yeah. I was gonna mention. I was gonna start off the discussions with this match about the defense, that AEL's defense kind of putting their bodies on the line. But like the first time, one of the highlights there to that header, Bilavar kind of leaves Mraz on his own completely to try and meet the cross with his head, misses the header, and that's why Mraz has got a free header that he still messes up. But yeah, there's defensively, both these teams kind of turned out turned out all right. But AEL had a lot of work to do. They had a lot of work to do, and Othosy just kept attacking. I think they hit the bar twice in the game, don't they? Twice or three times. But yeah.
So there's a lot more. There's a lot more intensity, like in both phases of play, both the attacking and defensive.
Yeah.
Even though defensively it looks a little bit frantic, like you're saying, bodies on the line from both teams there. They're throwing in the last ditch tackles. It's a lot more refreshing. As in, like once the ball beats them, that's not the end of it. They're going to carry on trying to defend until the ball's out of play.
Yeah, the manager that, well, but again, that wasn't great. But yeah, the AEL manager has done wonders with this team defensively. Even with kind of even though he seems to have left kind of the attacking prowess kind of a bit to the side, which is a shame because the kind of players that they've got attacking wise. So you've got Kacaniklic. There you go.
He was at Fulham.
Yeah, he was at Fulham and Liverpool. They have Kevin Mirallas. They've got Saido Berahino. They've got Aaron Chibola. They've got players. They've got midfield and attacking players that people have actually heard of.
And none of them are to be sniffed at. They're all very good.
Yeah, and between the lot of them, they've not done much. Like if you have a look at the goal scoring charts, for instance, Kacaniklic has only got 2 or 3 goals. Berahino's only got 2 or 3 goals. Mirallas
look at that!
Such a sweaty goal. Such a sweaty goal as well. I mean, they deserved to get at least a draw from the game. Yep. But it's such a sweaty goal.
Yep. But they won't care. They won't care.
I mean, the audacity to celebrate that after being winded by your teammate's shot.
Christophe was at Rangers, wasn't he?
No, Christophe was. He went to Switzerland.
Yeah, he went to Sion. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. So the point means nothing to Anorthosis because they stood a chance of getting into the top 6, but given the season that they've had, they've really done well to move up to 9th. That's how bad this season has been. This is a club steeped in Cypriot football history, the first Cypriot club to ever get into the Champions League. Won the cup a couple years ago, and they've had a bumpy ride to say the least. Steve, just to give you a bit of a breakdown, they brought in a sporting director in the summer. They brought in a new head coach in the summer. Within 2 months, the head coach was sacked. Within 3 months, the sporting director was sacked. They brought in another head coach. Within a month, he was gone, or 2 months, shall I say. It's been an utter clown show. You've had fans getting games cancelled by throwing Molotov cocktails on the pitch. You've had the president not wanting to resign. He eventually decided to take a sidestep, and an interim president came in. They brought in a caretaker manager from the academy who used to play for the club, and it's almost as if they've got this new lease of life. They've made 4 signings in January. One of them, in fact, 2 of them on loan, actually. I think 2 of them are on loan.
Yeah, Mraz is on loan.
They signed Cortez from Malaga. They signed Guerrero. That was at Olympiacos. They've really worked hard on the training field to be more physical, more aggressive, more quicker on the ball, more defensively solid. And they really went through a bit of a charge. We felt that they stood half a chance. They would have needed results to go their way, but they stood a chance of getting into the top 6. Now they can't do it, but they still got the cup to play for, which I wouldn't put it past them winning it. In all fairness, but they've done really, really well. But on the flip side, AEL, the other team, they went through something similar. They brought in a sporting director in the summer. They brought in a head coach. The head coach was sacked about 3 games in. They brought in another head coach.
5 games in.
5 games in. Sorry, 5 games. 5 games in.
How long was he in? A lot longer.
Yeah, the sporting director was sacked. Janevski, I don't know how long Janevski's been there.
He's been there. So I think he took over like a week after Bebe got sacked.
So we're looking at what, September?
Yeah. So he's been there since September, and
yeah, they've only conceded 18 goals this season, which I think only APOEL's goals against are better than theirs. So the 8th place team has got the second best defensive record. But as Thassos said, when you got Berahino and Mirallas and Kataniklic not scoring goals for you, yeah,
it's I don't know. And like at the beginning of the season, I made a bold. I didn't think it was that bold of a statement, but it's turning out to be a really bold and stupid statement. Is I said that they were going to win the league because of those signings.
But this sounds like they're just missing one centre midfielder that can break lines and turn counter attacks on. Because if you're that defensively astute, you've got to be a bit more deep. You know, you sit up a little bit deeper where you'd expect them to be. So as a result, I'm not saying they're outright counter attacking, but you need that player that can receive the ball in the middle of the park and engage with the attack. But by the sounds of it, it's like by the time the attack get the ball, the opposition have all 11 players back defending for their lives because they're aware of the attacking threat. And so, I mean, you saw in the highlights that they're taking shots where a defender's already like making that last ditch tackle and there's another player behind him. So they're feeding off of scraps or, you know, very tight angles.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe they're a bit slow in their transition.
Yeah. No, I think that's the case. There was Chibola kind of was a bit slow to start performing for them, but once he did, he was actually it was a very good pivot for them, wasn't he? But then for the last couple of months he's been injured.
Yeah, picked up an injury against Omonoia,
which is tied in with their form kind of being a bit up and down.
Yeah, but wasn't Casa the winger out for a bit as well, and he is a really good outlet on the flank.
Yeah. I mean, it's especially the last 2 or 3 games. Casa has been solid. He's been racing onto balls. He's been using that speed, which we haven't seen from him much. Again, it's kind of fits and bursts. You've got Berahino was performing well like 2 or 3 weeks ago. He got in the goals. Kachniklik has come into the goals now. Mirallas was performing well about a month and a half ago. The other thing with this team is they seem to be in a constant injury crisis. There's at least 5 or 6 players out all the time, which I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe their training ground needs digging up and relaying or something.
Well, it was Steve. We joke that their head coach, we call him the Sean Dyche of Cypriot football.
Oh, okay. Because I look like Sean Dyche at the minute, and it worries me. I've gone from Luke Shaw to Sean Dyche.
It's all right. You need to swallow some gravel. I think you need to get some.
I can talk like this, but then I sound like the missing Mitchell brother. That's the worst bit. I look like Phil's gone off the rails rather than Sean Dyche. But so if they've got a coach like that, very old school, he's probably running them into the ground, and before they even go into matches, they're probably close to fatigue as it is.
Yeah. I think that's probably the case.
I need to show Steve Buffer's winner against AEL the other week from Tankovic from 6 yards out, where there was 8 AEL players in the 6-yard box.
No, you don't need to show me that.
I was crying.
Oh God, yeah.
Anyway, speaking of crying, I'm going to cry now. I'm going to show Omonoia losing 2-0 against APOEL in the derby. Oh God, the most pathetic. Well, no, I'm lying. That's not the most pathetic Omonoia performance I've ever seen against APOEL, but it's very close to it. That's all. At halftime, we might shithouse a 1-0 win. Because
that should have been 1-0.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
2 minutes into the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's-
It's a thing. So APOEL got been very solid defensively up until about 3-4 weeks ago. Not even that. It's just that basically the defense spends about for the first 10 minutes kind of figuring out that they're playing a game of football.
Yeah, it's like when you play FIFA and a kickoff, and then you just put the joypad down, and the players just stand around. That's
Yeah.
what APOEL first 10-15 minutes of games, and afterwards they just wake up and just obliterate teams.
I'd book him for diving there.
Oh yeah, he doesn't get booked, but
He
yeah.
should.
I mean, yeah, he's.
Sorry, so I know this is your
guy,
team, but
that guy
He's
was
dog
probably
shit. I don't care. He's
yeah,
fucking
and that guy
useless.
was probably the only player who's trying for money. That's a disappointing thing. So APOEL, I've got a
who's the guy
couple
on
of
the penalty spot for APOEL at the minute? Just on the edge of the box now.
yeah, that's Makeda.
Yeah, Makeda.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's looked dangerous in this game so far. Just looks
Yeah.
very composed driving forward.
Well, he scored that famous goal against Villa.
yeah, yeah. You keep every time he's on, you keep bringing it up.
By the way, that's a free kick outside. That's one of those cliches. It's a free kick anywhere else on the pitch.
Yeah,
It's not a penalty.
yeah.
Yep.
There's a player down injured, and you have a tame shot from. That's sportsmanship there. I like that. He saw that player was down and gave it back to the keeper.
No, they don't stop. They don't stop for nobody.
No,
Now,
they don't. No, head injuries, nothing. They don't stop. There's no
This isn't a
concussion
head
protocol.
injury, by the way. He gets elbowed.
Oh, okay. At least it's in the stomach there, not in the face.
Yeah. But
Well, it's not even subtle.
I mean that's
so,
a pen.
yeah, it's a penalty.
Oh God.
But yeah, basically, right? Lesjaks, man. Every time I see him play, I mean, I'm not an Omonoia fan, but every time I see him play, I just want to throw stuff at the guy.
Is that the defender who just got muffled
Yeah,
off the ball easily?
It's the guy
This is the
playing
goal
left back.
This is the goal that was disallowed, by the way. And if you want to see a perfect example of why someone should be sent off, I think this is it. if they show it in this replay, by the way.
No, they will. They will show it. It'll go through a couple of times, but they will show it. But yeah, Here we go.
Watch this. Watch Makeda.
Wait for it. Here we go.
Here we go.
Wait.
Bosh.
But yeah.
He's booted him.
Yeah. But yeah, but
it didn't matter because we're shit. We can see stupid goals.
the left back is this Lesjaks for Omonoia is the one that I keep. It's just I can't. Right, but here Bezos, right? So that's a yellow. That first tackle, and that's a yellow as well.
Well, that's an injury in the goalkeeper. That's what I used to do on FIFA when I get annoyed with your position.
Look at this! Oh my god! Oh, the more I see it, the more it kills me. Yeah, you just need to look at the defending.
Yeah, you've got one person that can't pass. You've got one defender that's colourblind and doesn't know what colour kit people are wearing.
What he does, he gives them the ball.
Yeah, but your remaining centre back plays like Scott Brown at the best of times.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's so immobile, gets done there, off balance. That's what that. I don't even want to call it a tackle. You know when a keeper concedes a goal and then dives after the shot.
Yeah.
That was the defenders equivalent.
Yeah, pretty much. So the thing is, well, right, Dalcio. So APOEL and Omonoia have played. Is it what that twice or three times now in the last month?
Is
it twice?
Twice, yeah. Once in the cup and the weekend, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's another one, and Dalcio, right, has been pivotal in both both games that these two teams have played against each other, and for some reason, the defenders aren't picking up Dalcio. They're just letting him do whatever the hell he wants. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah. And to make matters worse, Ephraim scored the goal. That guy that just scored, Steve, he's like the Sol Campbell. He left Omonoia to go to APOEL, and since then he's just been winning title after title and scoring against us as well. The fucker.
Yeah, but, he now has the record. He's equaled the record for amount of time scored against Omonoia for an APOEL player.
Yep.
Yep. And it's like he's turning a little bit into Gabriel like Bonloho for Villa. You just put him on so he can score against the local rivals. It's like what Villa would do in the Championship. You just put him on against Birmingham in the 80th minute. He'll just go and score a goal.
But to be fair, Ephraim's been brilliant. He's been brilliant.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
can't dispute.
He's the APOEL club captain. So, yeah.
Even Flavia Bonhor, when he put on the weight at the end, he could see that one sprint against Birmingham. So I'm guessing, like for you, Stel, when you watch him play against Omonoia, you're like, this is where he'll have his performance of the season. He'll just pull it out for this game.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's been decent from all season. Like they're using him very sparingly. They don't play him every game. They've got enough players that can rotate and whatnot. So when he does come on,
he's not a spring chicken.
No.
He's hold on. I'm just checking his age
Really?
now. He's 33.
Yeah. Is he? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but look, he's been a cracking player for them. You can't dispute that. And but the thing is, for me, it's like I said on the podcast, it's like APOEL are like our bogey team, and that's the worst bogey team to have. The team that you hate the most, and we just can't beat them. You just can't beat them. But it's like this. I don't know. We need a witch doctor or something. we need something like that. But what makes it even
that can
worse?
distinguish between red and green.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're clearly colorblind.
But what makes matters worse is that win for APOEL puts them top of the table. It put them top of the table till Monday when AEK played Apollon, which you're going to go into in a bit. But we've basically given APOEL, put one hand on the trophy, on the title after that performance. So
yep. Stel, you talked about like I'm not gonna. You and Roy were like, we're not gonna talk about transferring players and whatnot, and talk about who we're gonna get rid of. But Les Yax, start with him.
Didn't you watch the pod the other day when I just went off on one about players that need to go?
What? Yeah,
call their agents.
But you seem to go like in between like the support the players to fuck them all. I mean,
well, this is the thing, yeah, because before
because he's hurt, because he gets hurt, he defends them, and then they just.
But the thing is, when we lost 4-1 to Anorthosis, prior to the Anorthosis game when we lost 4-1, I was saying we need to back these players, but then they put in a performance like that. And the manager gets sacked when it's the same group of players, or practically the same group of players, that have thrown 3 managers under the bus. Yeah. So I don't give a shit about the players now. There's some of them that I know personally who I know are hurting, but it's not their fault that the players around them are fucking shit. The centre back, Adam Lang, that practically gave the first goal, he's been dog shit for ages. I said, get rid of him. But the reason why he's still at the club is because Omonoia make money when he goes on international duty. In fact, they made over 300,000 when he went to the Euros. For Hungary, yeah. Hungarian national team. Adam Lang.
Yeah.
Because he had Harry Kane in his pocket twice.
Yeah.
He plays for the Hungarian national team. So whenever he goes on international duty, the club makes money. I mean, I think they've made over 800,000 since he's joined the club. So why would they sell him for $500,000 when they know they can make 300 grand a year on him going international duty? Because he's not going to get dropped from the Hungarian national team because they haven't got better centre backs. Well, they've got a few, but not for a squad size, so to speak. Lesiak should have gone ages ago. but they're keeping him. Why? Because he's got a long-term contract and they need to pay him. Well, they're paying him because they're paying him. That's what it is. It's stupid.
This
bruv.
is where you just need to buy a Hungarian under 21 centre back, and then
That's
just sort
it,
of like
yeah.
mould him to replace this one, sell him on, and then you've got a youngster that can replace him.
Yeah, ask
Yeah.
Akos
You know you
Omonoia,
ain't gonna
he
get rid of
was
him.
unlockable.
Exactly. But the thing is, I don't want to talk about Omonoia too much because I'm fucking
Yeah.
fed up with it. But
Yeah.
in terms of APOEL, you know, in the summer they brought in a few players. They looked very serious in their title hunt. They brought in Crespo, the centre back from Bark. They brought Belic back in goal. Has been brilliant. You know, obviously Kostadinov. Well, listen, he hasn't been conceding many goals, so you know,
yeah,
and
but
that's.
I'd put that to his defence. I mean, there was a
But they chop and
highlight.
change their back line. Come on,
Yeah,
Chebak
but
played at right back. Wheeler played at left back. You know, Garo
yeah,
has been in and out. Dvali's been in and out. Okay, you know, and obviously Kostadinov has been great centre mid. But obviously Villafañez has been brilliant. Marquinhos
now
has
he's
been
back from
brilliant.
injury. Yeah,
Yeah, they signed Makeda and Ben. Ben was brilliant at Red Star Belgrade, right? Makeda, as we know, he's got quality. So they leveled up in January in areas that they needed to improve on.
yeah. I mean, that's basically what we said, wasn't it? When that they just needed that reinforcement up front, and then that's them shooting on, and that's basically what they've done.
So yeah, top of the league, and it looks like they're going to be going into the final game of the season, top of the league, because AEK, fresh from European success, they now face West Ham in the next round of the Conference League, which I'm quite excited about. AEK's title charge was dented. They lost 2-1 away at Apollon. Apollon, another club, have been in disarray. This is a club that won the league last season, Steve. They sacked their head coach before the season started, right? They brought in another head coach who lasted a couple of months. They sacked him. They brought in another coach who lasted a month or so. They sacked him. They brought in another guy who's been at the helm for 2 games, and they're now doing well. But another club that was backed in January, they brought in Amr Warda, who was last season's player of the year. He's hardly done anything for Apollon, but he scored the match winner. And that's the goal that effectively cements their top 6. But they took the lead through a goal from, who was it? It was Godsway Donyo, Milicevic equalised for AEK, and then Varda scored 7 minutes into added time. Hamas was sent off in the 52nd minute. But that's again another game that was very, very entertaining. And annoyingly, I had to miss most of it because it was at 2 o'clock UK time, and I had to go pick up the kid from school. So I missed most of the bloody game.
Yeah,
Fuck's sake.
Who plays? Who organises a game at 2 p.m. on Monday?
Who's the keeper here, by the way?
Pirich.
Yeah. He's
very impressed with him so far. And what we were talking about earlier about commanding your 6-yard box when crosses are coming in, he's not afraid to come off his line and restrict those angles, which we saw in one of the earlier games.
He's been one of the best keepers in the league this season, mate. He's been brilliant.
Well, I mean, in the Europa League, his performances actually got congratulations from Fenerbahce fans. You know, when you've got fans of a Turkish team saying "well done" to a goalkeeper for a Cypriot
side, you know you've done well.
Yeah, so he's been very, very solid for him. I think last game last couple of games he's been a bit shaky. So I don't know what happened over the last couple of games. There was against Garmiodisai, he had a bit of a mess. Same again last week against with the draw with Agridas. But
he wasn't in goal against Agrita.
Oh no,
it was Dumba.
Oh, was it Dumba? Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, when he's playing well, they all play well. So this is a shit reason to get a red card, man. Why dive?
Oh, he got booked for that.
Yeah, he got booked for that. And his second yellow card. I don't know what he's complaining about. Like when you look back on it, you're like, why dive? Like it's gone down before the defenders before it's even gone in for the tackle.
Yeah,
and even then, it's not touched him.
Well, look, Hamas has been decent from this season. We saw the goal that he scored in the last minute against Buffalo, and I think again with the occasion, you could tell the fans were well up for this game. And yeah, it's what's it called? The rush of blood to the head, so to speak. And he's put his club in a very, very precarious situation. But to be fair, man, like Apollon showed a lot of fight in this game. He showed a lot of fight, and I've seen it quite a lot recently, especially like in these derby games, you know, against APOEL away from home, against Amr Warda at home, even against Omonoia second half, they look really decent. But you know, I think. Yeah, I mean, I think AEK will be very disappointed with the way that they conceded both the goals, in all fairness. And once again, Thassos, when you stop those balls in the box from AEK in wide areas,
what more can the keeper do on that? I'd say watching these highlights so far, AEK look exposed to a long diag behind their fullbacks.
Their
fullbacks look very sort of different.
Yeah,
it's usually because their fullbacks are 30, 40 yards up the field, mate.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can see it here because like the wingers are primed for just running around. The wingers are sort of staying wide. They're just looking for that ball over the top. They run onto it. They're taking 1-2 touches to get to the edge of the box, and then they're cutting back. So like here, look, long diag, runs through, edge of the box, cuts it in.
But no one's tracking the goal scorer. That's the annoying thing.
And he's run from deep. And but this is one of the things that I think gets overlooked in all football, to be honest. Like, if you don't track that midfield runner, and that's not necessarily the defence, that's more the midfield, these opportunities do come up.
Yep. The keeper's made a great save there, in all fairness. So he's really got down quick and stopped the ball, but he's gone straight to the goal scorer. And again, look, he's acres of space, but
But I mean, Donyo deserved the goal though, because like throughout the game, he was everywhere. He was everywhere for him.
That's a good finish from Milicevic. He's been a cracking signing for him, hasn't he? From Italy, he's been brilliant for him. You know, he's a guy that's played in top level football, and again, a ball from out wide there, Thassos.
Another cross from out wide. Farage doing his job. He's been a bit quiet over the last 2-3 games. I don't know if he's actually been playing or been injured, but he's been a bit quiet. Good to see him come back on the assists. But so AEK, they're well known for this overload. Like, you get the players down on the wing and then overload the box with players. So if we there you go. It's five players in the box there, and it's kind of to their detriment as well, especially when they're chasing a game. They're
going to be exposed for the counter.
Yeah, they're very exposed on the counter. I mean, there was a match they played with Aris. It finished 4-3 basically because both teams are quite attacking.
Loads of counter-attacking goals. Loads of counter-attacking goals.
Get it into the wide areas, cross it into the 6-yard box.
And it's
and this is where a cut back. He'd have done better there, had the space.
Yeah. He's normally better than that.
No, he's been outstanding all season for us, to be honest. And West Ham need to watch out for him because he'll cause them all sorts of problems. But again, the overloads in the box, it's a running theme with them. But yeah, we're about to see limbs. We're about to see limbs.
Because, this is what I'm waiting for, because when I saw it, I kind of had goosebumps.
There you go. Oh, wow. Wardavision as expected.
96 minutes. Bam, goal.
Yep. That's fucking limbs.
Hold on, you'll see the manager in a second.
Nah, I don't blame him.
Limbs. These are people jumping off the fucking out of their seats onto the pitch. Like
you've just stitched your goalkeeper up there. There's one defender back, and he's basically standing in no man's land between the two players left up. Miles on, he's not even on the halfway line. Stand on the halfway line.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
what I loved about this is that Hal, our good friend Hal, that lives in Cyprus, working for BFBS Radio, he's got a season ticket at Northussy, and he sent me a
Apollon.
message. Apollon, sorry, Northussy, am I talking about? Sorry, apologies, fucking hell. I don't know why I mentioned Northussy. My bad.
Warda.
He said I celebrated like it was a Sheffield United goal. I went crazy, hugging random blokes. I trod on a man's phone, cracked the screen, picked it up, handed it to him, and forgot the Greek word for sorry. So I gave him a buggered phone and said, "Thank you."
Brilliant.
But he loved it. He loved it, and I'll tell you what, it makes a big difference, right? If you remember Thassos, the Karmiotissa game a few weeks ago, where the game was the referee stopped the game 8 minutes into added time because fans were literally throwing seats. They were ripping seats out the
This is the
ripping
brand
them
new
out
stadium, by the way.
and
This is
throwing them onto the pitch because they were so angry with their players. You had the ultras telling the board, resign, telling the coach, resign or else. The coach stayed for one more game and then he quit. Oh, sorry, one more day and then he quit.
he
Was it one more
resigned.
day?
No. Magridis resigned during the press conference.
Oh, during the press conference after the game. Sorry, apologies.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So it's been a massive clusterfuck all season. But for them to get into the top six is a massive achievement as far as I'm concerned, given the circumstances, given everything that's happened at the club. And I'm sure I've missed out other things as well. But to have 4 or 5 managers in the four managers in the season and to get into the top six, yeah, hats off to them. And I'm happy for Jovanovic as well, because Jovanovic, the goalkeeper, has been immense for him since joining. He was pivotal last season, and to see him celebrate like that, you could tell how much it means to him. You know,
there's a couple of the players that were pivotal last season that kind of frozen out, coming back in now. So Hamburg was playing, Artemada was playing, you know, along with some of these other players as well. So Amdoni seems to be doing something.
Well, you got Warda scoring as well.
Yeah.
Warda. Okay, Varda's been okay. He hasn't been the Warda that we saw last season, but obviously he's had to require time to get used to his club, and obviously changing managers ain't going to help. But for him to score that goal at the end, we've hardly mentioned him this season. I mean, we mentioned him when he had a go
after January.
this year, after January, yeah. But for him to get that goal is absolutely important, because Steve, the guy that scored the winner, he's a very controversial character. He was beaten up in a nightclub at the beginning of the season for chatting up some bloke's bird. He's got previous when it comes to what's the word? Chasing tail.
Yeah.
Yes. In fact, a friend of mine who I'm not going to mention was telling me a story that Warda ended up in this toilet of a nightclub, locked in the cubicle for a couple of hours because people found out he was in there and tried to take photographs of him. So he stayed in there until it was closing time with a bird. So yeah.
I mean, if we move it out of the gutter for a second as well, there's also a couple of videos of him going up to. Huh? Oh no, sorry. Let's get out of the toilet then.
Okay.
And but he's well known for confronting fans as well. So there's a video of him going like in broken Greek, "You are not a fan of Anorthosis. You are not a fan."
When he was at Anorthosis.
When he was at Anorthosis. And the fan is yelling at him, "Why are you talking to Apollon then?" Because he's like, "I love Anorthosis. I love Anorthosis. It's my team. You're not Anorthosis. Why are you talking to Apollon then?" "I'm not talking to Apollon." And 2 months later, he signs for Apollon.
Brilliant.
And there's also some like Twitter exchanges as well that happened while the signing was taking place. Like he did this massive Instagram post saying like, "Oh, like Anorthosis is my team, and I love the team, but you know it's time for me to move on, and you shouldn't keep a player that's not happy," and all this business, right? And then the club decided on their Twitter account to post a copy paste of a text message he'd sent to the chairman, begging him to leave.
Brilliant.
So,
Absolutely brilliant.
so you can see why, circus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Circus. But now we're in season 2 of Wardavision, and this is the he's getting his this is the good time feelies season. He's having a good time right now. But yeah, there you go.
Never a dull moment. So he's a character, to say the least.
Yes,
Yes.
he is. He is.
Right, that's it for the roundup. Let me just bring up the league table because we need to know exactly what's going on, and Steve needs to have a rough idea as to what to expect in the final game of this this, how shall we say, what's the
Round.
word to describe this
Round?
Not but because obviously there's permutations going into the final game of the season in inverted commas because there's going to be a split.
It kind of it splits off a little bit like what the Scottish Premiership does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we've got APOEL top on 56 points, Ajax second in 54. Then you've got Aris with 50 points. They're still in with a shout, as are Buffalo in fourth. Then you've got Apollon in fifth. So I think that's pretty much how the top 5 is going to be. But top 6, the 6th spot, is between Salamina, Omonoia, and AEL. Now, this is going to be an interesting one because I believe Omonoia faced Garmiodissa at the weekend. That's never an easy game, especially going to the Tirio, which is a pitch which is fucking horrible. It's a disgusting pitch. I don't know how anyone plays football on it, in all fairness, but it's got to be done. Then you have who have AEL got? Let me check.
AEL have got Apollon, haven't they?
AEL Apollon. There you go. A derby. There you go. The last time these two clubs faced each other was in the cup, and there was some frisbee action with the chair tennis. Yeah. And Salamina, if I'm not mistaken, are playing APOEL on Monday. So, perhaps
they're not staying.
Huh?
Nea Salamina have done well, but they're not getting top 6 then.
Well, listen, stranger things have happened. Don't forget, Salamina's current head coach used to be APOEL's head coach, and they sacked him. They sacked him due to some bad results, but he kind of felt aggrieved because a lot of the signings that they made weren't signings that he wanted, and he kind of left under a cloud, even though he played for the club as well. So I think he has unfinished business. So I wouldn't rule them out. But again, AEL against Apollon, I don't think Apollon will want AEL to win given the rivalry. And they'll want to wrap up the official season with a victory. But then the league splits, isn't it? The top 6 play each other twice, and then their points accumulated are added on. So I guess it's bottom 8 facing each other, right?
Yep.
There you go. And then how many teams go down? 3.
Yep.
3 teams go down. So yeah, the last 8 face each other twice, and then their points are added up. So at the moment, it looks like Doxa, Olympiacos, and Agreda are going down, but I wouldn't rule out Paralimni. But you never know. You just never know.
Yeah, I mean, again, we were talking about clubs taking points off each other, and this is kind of down at the bottom. I can see maybe Garmiodissa being dragged in as well if they're not careful. Whereas, the top end is basically that top 4, isn't it, for the league?
Well, the thing is that the top spot gets Champions League qualification. Second and third. Second gets Europa League, and third gets Conference, right? Second and third get Europa.
Second and third get Conference League, and then the cup winner gets Europa. But if
I don't know.
I think that's what it is.
I think that's what it is. I'm guessing if the cup winner is also top of the league, then they'll give second spot to Europa or runners up.
Yeah. Exactly.
The cup winner definitely gets Europa League for sure. That's the qualification. Hang about. So first gets Champions League playoff. Second gets UEFA Conference League qualification, as do third. Yeah. So second and third Conference League qualifiers, and then cup winners get Europa League qualifiers. So you're better off winning the cup in terms of money.
Yeah.
But so that's the league table. Thasso, are there any shenanigans we want to discuss? We've done an hour and a half.
Yeah, I'm just like I'm already, we're kind of like at normal kind of finishing off, aren't we? But it's basically stuff that Vronidis, our legal representative in the Cyprus FA, and his punishments. Basically,
do you want to break it down for Steve who Vronidis is and what he does?
Yeah. So Vronidis is basically the Cyprus FA's legal representative, and every week he does. There's like an announcement on the Cyprus FA page of all the disciplinary action that's happened. So there's people getting fined and banned for games and whatever based off of what's gone on. And one of the things that's happened is because of the Garmiodisa game, Apollon fans are not allowed in the next match at the Alpha Mega Arena.
Right.
So yeah, no home fans at that game because of the stuff that they were chucking around at the Garmiodisa game. Baralimni got fined because some of their fans threw a minor APOEL fan, a minor as in like 14-year-old. They threw him to the ground and he needed help from the stewards.
Oh my god!
So these are just there's like 4 pages of this stuff. I'm just picking out some interesting bits, and then so Pox have had a player banned for a game for slapping another player on the head.
Second division club, yeah.
Yeah, for slapping another player on the head. So it's not Brosobo face, it's on the head. Like so they've also been so that club has also been fined for a fan spitting and swearing at a player in the 37th minute. They were playing a team called Hermes, who have had an auxiliary staff member banned for 1 game and fined for swearing at a fan in the 37th minute. So I wonder why. I wonder what happened there for him to do that.
Has there been any news on the referee that was attacked?
No, not yet. They haven't. Achna haven't faced any punishment yet on that. I'm guessing that's going to happen this week. But yeah. There's been a lot of stuff, referee decisions. Basically, every week they do a VAR review and they kind of look at sequences where VAR has been used. And there's been a load of political infighting that's happened over the last couple of weeks between the clubs, the Cyprus FA, and the head of the referees. And now the head of the referees, with his weekly review of the VAR issues, basically chucked petrol on the fire that was going on. There's a couple of things that have occurred with regards to like stamps that have not been red carded, and reasoning being that there was no injury to the other player. This fucking offside. That wasn't offside for AEL versus AEK. The one that I kicked off about last week, going, it's not offside. Yeah, they looked at it and they went, it's offside. They did the triangulation, it's offside. And then you see the picture of the offside decision, and there's only one fucking line drawn on it.
I mean, so long as it's not as bad as the line that we saw earlier.
No, but there's only one line. There's only one line. That's anyway. And then there was the Doxa goal that APOEL kicked off about, which was handball and shouldn't have counted. Yeah. Basically, the head of the referee said there wasn't enough evidence, and then right after him kind of putting this thing on the website, the APOEL social media team showed a video of the evidence of the handball being there, and then being like,
brilliant.
Yeah, so there you go. Kind of like a very, very rushed through bit of shenanigans.
This is what it is.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Here we go. Oh, there it is.
And they said no handball. But then
and that wasn't handball.
I love how they zoom in as well.
They zoom in as well to be like, "Are you sure there's no evidence?" Yeah.
I think they did that just to shut us up, to be honest, because we were the ones saying, was it really handball? But hey, we're wrong. I hold my hands up, no pun intended.
Yeah.
I mean, don't worry, they wouldn't have given you handball either, so you're fine.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Right, so that's been another edition of This Is Mappa. Steve, thank you for jumping on, man. Really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed our shenanigans, and you're more than welcome to join us the next time there is a show with more fireworks.
No, sounds good to me.
Yeah,
I will have to jump now though because my phone is on 3%, so I might actually drop that at the point.
All right, Mama.
So,
No worries, mate. I'll leave
thank
you
you
to
for
it.
having
Cheers,
me.
mate.
Take care, guys.
Cheers,
Thank you. See you later.
Cheers.
Bye, bye.
Bye. Ah, there you go. Cut you out as well. Right, that's it, boys and girls. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for Steve. Thank you for you, Thassos, for your input.
Thank you.
We need to start doing like a team of the season kind of. I don't know, like our my 11 players or goal of the season or something like that.
Oh yeah. No, I'll start picking them up.
We should do something like that. But I mean, then again, the season isn't over yet. So yeah, the season isn't over yet. So
yeah,
there you go. Bomba.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll
all right. Well, that's it for another edition. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at This Is Mappa, at Flares Cafes. We have an Instagram account and we've got quite a few decent followers, I must admit.
Yeah.
And we've got a special guest coming soon. Just need to what's the word? Confirm the date and the time, but he's up for joining us. He used to play in the Wardavision. He's a Spanish player, still playing. And we'll be back very, very soon. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you for everyone following us and jumping on Twitter and all sorts of social media. It's been fun. It's been great.
We thrive on it.
Yes, we do. We need the attention. Give me the attention, all the attention. Bye, everyone.